Welcome back to Camp Out West and another episode as we continue transforming our abandoned caravan park into our dream home and guest campsite. If you watched our last video, you would have seen us finish the cladding on our tiny house build, which was such a big moment for us. And this week we get an amazing new addition to our land with a big delivery and renovation project. More land progress continues as we fence off a new area and we head to North Wales to stay in an off-grid cabin for our wedding anniversary. So we hope you enjoy watching and don't forget to subscribe.
Welcome back. We've got an exciting addition to the land arriving today. So we've been trawling the Facebook marketplace like usual, looking for second-hand bargains, and we found quite a good deal. So come with us and we're going to be meeting the lorry there and see what we've got. We saw this office for sale in the next village over, and as much as we try and build everything ourselves, this just felt like it was meant for us. It was so local and in our budget, and when it would cost more materials and time if we were to build it ourselves, so we went for it. It was only a 10-minute drive, which was lucky for us as it meant we saved a lot on the transport cost. We originally wanted it to go in front of the caravan here on an old hard standing, but we underestimated how tall the office would be coming off on the high ab with the height of the truck bed, as we had some overhead lines in the way. The only other place they could really offload safely was in the field, which wasn't ideal, but at least it had made it here. Once it was offloaded, I pressure washed it so they could dry overnight. So this is our office. It's made it in one piece, kind of. So we bought this on the marketplace and it's only travelled a couple of miles from a neighbouring village of ours, but because we're quite rural, it has been through all the little narrow country lanes with all the overhanging trees, so it's made it here with some damage, which is unavoidable really. You could only just fit the lorry down. So the gutters at the front are damaged, the ones on the back completely got ripped off. The lights on the front have got damaged and the roof has a bit of a bend in the end of it, but nothing structural. So not too much for us to get sorted before we can start using it. So a lot of people will be wondering why we've gone and bought a little office like this, especially instead of building one. But we've been living in our 5-metre, 25-year-old touring caravan for 3 years now. So that's sleeping, eating and working in such a small space. Yeah, it does get a bit hard. So this came up a marketplace for what we thought was a really reasonable price. And we thought for that it was worth it. It's only 2 miles away. So we've got it here now. Not to take away too much from the cabin build, so we've given ourselves 2 days to get this to a reasonable condition for us to use. So we're excited to get it into a nice space. Our first job was painting the office black. This has been our whole colour theme for the land so far. We're using the same barn paint that we used to paint the sauna, as we really love the coverage and the finish. If you've got any name ideas for our new little office, let us know in the comments. We can't believe by just changing the colour of the office how much has transformed it.
We started painting the office around 5 in the evening and had it done by dark, so then we could leave it dry overnight.
So we finished painting last night and the outside is looking really, really nice. It kind of looks like a new cabin. So we're going to go inside now and start priming and painting the inside. So this is the inside of our little office space. One of the things that we really liked is the person that was making this is a bit of a project, like nothing's quite finished, but he had built this little unit. So this is kind of like a little small kitchen setup. So you've got a worktop, got some cupboards for storage, and then there's a sink. None of it's plumbed in yet. But believe it or not, we haven't had a sink to clean cups and things like that for 3 years, so that'd be a nice novelty to have. But we've gone ahead and sanded everything, so all the cupboards we've sanded off the paint that was on there, and also on the walls. I think they've just used, I don't know what they've used, just like a normal emulsion paint, and all of the knots that are in the pine cladding have bled through. So we've gone ahead and sanded everything, ready to paint it ourselves. So the first job is we're going to use the same primer that we used in the cabin build, which is a Zinsabin primer, and that is really good for getting rid of all these marks and stopping it from bleeding through. When that's dry, then we're going to paint it a nice colour. So that's our project for today, and hoping to get it done as quick as we can.
I started work priming all the cladding and covering the knots. When the primer was drying, we headed to town to buy our paint. This was the design inspiration for the space. We opted for this colour called sheep's wool, which is a bit different to our normal style, but we thought it would really contrast the colour we're going to paint the kitchen units. While I was painting inside, John started work painting the kitchen cupboards, again using the same black barn paint that we used outside. Now I had finished painting all the walls, I then started painting the rest of the kitchen units in the same black paint. Now the cupboards were dry, John started attaching them into place. We opted for these gold handles to add a nice contrast against the black, and we also got a matching gold tap. Next, John started sanding the top of the counters, as we want to make them more of a richer brown, so we need to sand and use a wax remover first before we can add our stain on top.
So this is the finished result of our little office. This is after 2 days of painting, sanding and prepping. Really happy with the result. It's crazy to think, just the end of last week I saw this on Facebook Marketplace and it seemed like a really good deal at a decent price, and I thought the chances of us getting it, someone would have gotten before us, but luckily, as it was so local to us, we were the first people to view it, and we put a deposit down and then we figured out how we'd get it here. So luckily we managed to get it on the land, not to the perfect spot, so it's kind of temporarily on this hard standing, which is great because we're not that far from the cabin, so we can make use of the water supply, because this will be the first time in 3 years we've actually got a sink with running water, which seems like a really simple thing for everyone, but for us it's gonna be amazing. And also this is our first comfortable chair or sofa to have in 3 years, so we've literally lived in that little touring caravan and we've been waking up and working, from the bed, so not ideal. So it's really nice. From tomorrow we can come in here and have a really nice spot. As you can see, Maggie absolutely loves it here. Usually if you open the door of the caravan, she's out like a shot, but we've got these 2 sort of patio doors open and she's quite happy chilling in here, so thumbs up for Maggie.
So this is my favourite part of our new office. This is our fridge. We actually haven't had a fridge on site for 3 years, so this is just going to be amazing for us. So the last 2 months I've been really ramping up my running and training, getting ready for my first half marathon, which is later this year. And one thing I have to really focus on is my nutrition and making sure I'm getting enough calories in for all the extra exercise I'm doing, because I find the better fueled I am, the quicker I can recover and get back to exercise. So this fridge is going to be such a game changer for all my meal prep, and I just want to say a massive thank you to Y Foods, who are sponsoring today's video and also supporting my marathon training journey. If you're new to Y Foods, they create a range of balanced, nutritious and convenient meal solutions to keep you energized for when life gets busy. With an amazing range of drinks, powders and bars, they are all perfect for when you're on the go, making sure you have something to keep you fueled rather than skipping a meal if you're busy. Or in my case, these products are the perfect add-ons to my current diet to ensure I'm getting all the extra calories and nutrition I need to balance out my increased training. We first started buying Y Food drinks for weddings, so if you're a wedding photographer, you know it's really rare you get a lunch break. Our day normally starts at 9 AM at bride prep and we work through till 10 at night after the first dance. And normally by then all the food shops have closed, so we were always looking for easy grab and go options to take with us for weddings so we weren't running on empty. What we love most about Y Food is the flavour. They do so many amazing options. Classic Choco is my favourite, and then John loves the fruity peach, but they're all delicious. There's so many different options. Most importantly, they are rich in protein with up to 34 grams, along with fibre and 26 essential vitamins and minerals that keep you full for 3 to 5 hours. I also love that you don't need to keep them in the fridge, so they're great for when you're on the go or to keep on your bag or car if you're out and about, or like us, we took them away with us on our wedding anniversary hike, as they're perfect for when you're having a more active day. And I also love the bars as a post-run snack for when I need the extra boost. So if you'd like to try Y Foods, just head to the link in our description and you can get 20% off with your first order with our code CampoutNew. But that code's only valid for 7 days, so any time after that you can use our code CampoutYouTube to get 10% off. A special thank you to Y Food for sponsoring today's video and for supporting my marathon training.
While we'd been working on the new office space, we had Craig and Di from Gwendraith Valley Fencing with us again, this time working on the last section of the fencing. As the land is 3 acres in size, we've been booking in the fencing bit by bit each year to spread out the cost. This is Maggie's favourite spot on the land to try and escape into next door's field, so it's a good feeling to finally have the last section of the land secure and Maggie proof. Although let's hope she doesn't figure out if she really tries she could clear the fence. After Craig and Di had finished the fencing, they said they'd help us tow our office into the original spot we'd planned that the Hiab couldn't get it to. Di towed it as close as he could to the spot we wanted, then we tried using the quad. That didn't work, so the last resort was me trying my granddad's old Tiravor winch to pull it into place.
That wheel on the right looks not good.
Finally, we got it into the right spot, so special thank you to Craig and Di for giving us a helping hand with that.
Earlier in the week we headed to an off-grid cabin in North Wales for our wedding anniversary, so we thought we'd take you along with us. The cabin was in Anglesey in North Wales. If you've never been, it's such a beautiful place.
We've come away for a couple of nights for our wedding anniversary. So we've been married now for 8 years. So we got engaged up in Snowdonia 10 years ago, which is why we love to come back to North Wales and Snowdonia. So we thought before we go heading up to the mountains for a walk, we're going to show you where we're staying. So this cabin behind us, we've kind of chose this for two reasons. One, we think it looks really cool, and as you can tell, we're a bit obsessed with the corrugated steel sheeting. But the second reason is I really wanted to see how they flash the windows. So a lot of people were commenting on the last video about how you're going to flash the corners and the windows and things, and we should have done it first. Well, we've come to see this to see how they've done it. So we'll give you a quick tour of the whole setup of where we're staying. Hey girl. Hello. Hello. You okay? Hello. Hello. You like it here? So this is the main living area of the cabin. We love the high-pitched ceiling, which is similar to what we've built. We love how big the space is. It's really open and there's windows all around, so lots of light. We didn't realise when we booked it that it is pretty much kind of like an off-grid sort of cabin, so they're calling it a bothy. So imagine if this was up in the mountains and you were just going up there as a backpacker. So this doesn't have 240 volts or anything. There's I'm guessing like a small 12 volt supply, which they use for some of the lighting. They've given us like battery powered LED lighting and also a load of lanterns.
We thought this little bedroom nook was so cute, especially in the winter. You can imagine it's really cozy, and it's also got loads of storage underneath for extra bedding, which we thought was really nice.
Another thing this has made us think about for our site is I think we've been so focused on like the cabin as a project, like the deck, the sauna. They're just like individual little units. We've never really considered like around the space. So here they've got, you know, like a seating table area. They've got like a little gravelled area. So yeah, we really need to think about how we sort of tie all of our little spaces on the land together. So I mentioned earlier about wanting to check out the flashing for the windows. So this will be the same for our windows and doors. So this is kind of the idea we had. So our windows, we have an aluminium sill, so we wouldn't need this bottom piece. But essentially like these small bits of trim that we can get like custom made for us from our roofing sheet manufacturer. Something like this is what we were planning to do. But I think because we've already fitted the sheets, I think we want to do something slightly different here. So I think we're going to have something similar to this across the top, but then have it drain into the side flashing. But yeah, it's really cool to actually see it in person. I've asked so many times on various Facebook groups for advice on how to flash with this corrugated sheeting, and there's almost nobody there to tell me. So it's nice to actually see it like in person before I ever go doing it myself.
So this is what I was most excited for when we booked this accommodation. This is a wood-fired hot tub. So on our land, we don't have a bath. A bath is my favourite thing. We just have our outdoor shower. So this is a complete luxury thing for us to have. We were thinking about what to have on our land for guests as well. And we're in a few Facebook groups for glamping site owners. And they were saying their accommodation that has hot tubs books out over anything else. So we were thinking maybe it's a nice thing we could have on our land. And especially it would hopefully set us aside from other local Airbnbs that people might book us over them. But yeah, I just think a wood-fired hot tub is such a cool idea. You get to light it and you wait for it to heat up. I love it. So hopefully we can use it tonight after our hike.
This is a cool spot on the site. So you've got this communal building here for everyone to use. They've got a solar-powered fridge freezer here because in the cabin and also in the safari tents that they have here, you don't have a fridge. So you can come here and get ice packs to put in your cool box. That's really cool. This side of it also has all your firewood, kindling and your charcoal. And they've got an Honestly box to pay for that, but they've also got like a scannable QR code. And then this side of the building has all the stuff for entertaining kids. So you've got like board games and things like that. So obviously you wouldn't need anything of this size for our site, but it's interesting to see and something we need to consider.
So we're just getting ready to head on a hike. We're heading to Cwm Idwal. It is actually meant to rain later. So we've packed a change of clothes in case the weather does turn like it's meant to. So we walked all the way up here. Thank you. You enjoying?
One thing we weren't anticipating was running into some of our YouTube subscribers mid-hike. So special shout out to Andy and Jane from the Yorkshire Dales. It was lovely to meet you both and we hope you enjoyed the rest of your trip. By the time we finished our hike, the rain had stopped and the sun had came back out, just in time for us to enjoy an evening in a hot tub once we got back to the cabin. I think it's safe to say that Maggie enjoyed herself. That's the end of today's video. We hope you enjoyed watching and we'll see you next time.